What's up, guys? Welcome back to Collecting and Hobbies. Today, we're going to finally do a review over the long-awaited Nerf Gelfire Pro or Nerf Pro Gelfire Pronto. This is here's the box. I've already taken the gun out to test it, so I could tell you all about it. A quick reload, 5,000 Gelfire rounds. Tilt down to refill. There's the Hasbro logo. Of course, warning, do not aim at eyes or face. Eyewear required at all times. 800 round capacity. There's the logo again. On the back, it says also look for the igniter, uproar, also called the hero, and the warp speed, which is definitely the one that everybody's waiting for. As of right now, the warp speed hasn't been released anywhere that I've seen. There's the Pronto. Well, actually, these are supposed to come out on July 5th. In some countries outside the United States, they were available July 7th to July 15th as scheduled. But in America, we're talking late August. The quick reload, tilt down to refill. There's the refill stock. There's the glasses. Instant fire, just pull trigger. That's the basic gimmick for this one. And it has a sight on it. Internal hopper, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. Now, this gun is actually smaller than I thought it would be, kind of, a little bit. Let's see. Let's take this apart a little bit, show you how it was packaged. Now, I got this at Walmart, the only place in America that I've seen it. Okay, let's scoot back quite a bit. So there's what it looks like in its packaging, except for the other part. It really doesn't matter. Well, anyway, what they do is they package the gun here, and then they have I'll put a picture from, they have this thing somewhere on top of it. And the way it looks when it's in the packaging is a little off-putting, at least to my friend, who didn't want to get this because he thought it looked like it had a hopper that you couldn't take off, and it doesn't require batteries, so he wasn't interested because it doesn't shoot, multiple rounds per second and all that kind of stuff. But that's the whole point of this. This is the one, you don't have to charge anything. You don't have to put batteries in it. All you do is grab the trigger and it shoots. Which means that there's a pretty heavy-duty spring system in here. It's very similar to the Nerf, the pistols, the dual wields. It's the only other one that does that, actually. But so let's just take a look a little bit over the design. Now, I haven't actually reviewed a Nerf gun like this before. Okay, so here's the back of the gun, which has a little, if you can see that, there's like a little yellow switch there. So that, I guess, would mean that you could use this without the stock if you have bullets in there. This part right here, the clear part, does not come off. It does not open. It doesn't flip open or pull open or come off in any way, shape, or form. If you do that, you will probably break your gun. So all the other guns that have had this from Nerf, this kind of thing right here, it was a little bit more clear, but it was where you could flip it open on the pistols, and there was a top opening hatch right in the middle on the Ghost. I'll try to put pictures in there so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but so it's really, here's my hand. So it's not really too big, like about the size of, maybe double the size of the regular pistol. But then when you add the butt stock to it, then it becomes much bigger. And here's the targeting system. It says eyewear required on it. There's no laser. There's no batteries to this in any way. That's about it, actually. So as far as the regular pistol half, I guess. Now this is where you do everything. Okay, so this part right here, these things right here, make that drop down. And see this part right here, it moves too. That's all part of the stock that goes onto it. That doesn't actually do anything at all. This part is your trigger lock, so you don't actually shoot it on accident, which will be incredibly hard to do because you got to pull this back really hard. So here's the butt of the gun. Now this is where you put your gel beads, which I've already done. I took this outside and I shot it. I had it completely full. It does hold a full 800 just like it says it does, because I emptied my 800 round hopper into this. There's a little plastic thing right there that keeps the gel balls from maybe coming back. I don't really know. I'm not going to try it because it'll spill everywhere. But I think that's what it's there for, so it doesn't spill out. Yeah. But, oh yeah, okay, so I get it. So yeah, so that way it doesn't spill out, so you can actually put your gel balls in here or whatever. And then that will move when you actually attach it to the back. So you're going to be able to see right here. It actually moves the thing right there. And now you're connected. Now there's nothing holding back the gel blasters from going into the hopper. See, now it's full. So the top half is full, and you still got more back here. But because that little flap is no longer facing downwards, you can see it right there, it's facing upwards. You can empty it out again. So if you do not want this big stock thing, like I was showing you a minute ago, it does have that little switch there, so you can you could take it off. So you could use this and then put as many bullets as you want in there and then take this off. But if all of your bullets aren't up here, then obviously they're going to fall out. So so now basically the design of it itself looks pretty good. My only complaint is the actual trigger. The trigger is incredibly hard to pull back, especially for somebody with smaller hands, like youngsters. Technically, these are marketed 14 plus, teenagers and adults only, but it doesn't always happen that way. Kids like Nerf guns. So I don't think a kid could shoot this. It does have a really big trigger, but it's really hard to pull back. Now the pistols, they did have the same kind of thing, but the trigger was designed almost straight up and down, or like at a straight, it was like at an angle like this. For some reason, the way that this is, I don't know why, but it hurts like heck. This is like really, really hurts. It turned my fingers, like my middle finger, see, to pull this, you'd either have to use these two fingers or maybe these two fingers, or maybe just this one. Just depends on how strong you are. And um, it made my middle finger black and blue, and you could see all the veins popping out of it, and it hurt. And I did shoot though about 400 rounds, I guess, because it's about half empty, and I had filled it up all the way, but just halfway through it, I just didn't want to shoot it anymore. And the pistols I don't have that problem with, and they do the same basic thing. You just pull this back and it shoots. So I haven't made my mind up 100% completely, but as is the way that it's sold, I don't think it's just my copy. I think it would hurt just as bad with any other copy. But what I'm thinking about trying to do is putting some kind of, I don't know, some fabric, or potentially you could wear like a batting glove, for baseball, or a glove that you could use for golfing, or possibly I got this like squeeze thing that's shaped like a traffic light. I was thinking about slicing part of that off, putting that padding, because it literally feels like rubber Nerf padding, which is, and then just like gluing it on, or temporarily just to see if it works. Maybe use some sticky tack, put that on there. It just has some, I don't know why, but it just has some kind of weird, maybe it's because of that curve. I don't really know, because I'm not really using that. I guess a little bit. I don't know. It just needs, I think if it was designed like the pistols, it wouldn't hurt. It just hurts a lot. And when you're shooting something and you're shooting like 400 rounds, I mean, they last a lot longer because you have to pull it, and because it hurts. You don't want to pull it that much. So it's kind of addictive to pull it, but it just keeps hurting the more you pull it. And I highly recommend you put something on there. I don't even know if that will help, but I'm going to try to do that before I make my final judgment on whether you should get this gun or not. But the dual wields do great. The best part about this, though, is you have 800 rounds. So if you're using this, whether you're a kid or an adult, either one, if you have 800 rounds, because the Ghost only holds 100, the little pistols only hold 100. This holds 8 times more capacity, and it even has, well, the Ghost has a sight on it too, and it's got this little Picatinny, whatever you call it, rail, and you could, depending on what you buy, you could potentially put a laser sight on there, or a flashlight or whatever. But they do sell those types of things. Not Nerf particularly, but Amazon, like for other guns, for random generic type blasters. But anyway, so I'm going to take this outside, and I'm going to go ahead and pad it up, see if I can make it a little bit better. If that's all it takes, then yeah, this would be a great buy, because you don't need any batteries, especially for the teenagers, so to speak. And it shoots about, I got a couple dozen guns over last year or so. Automatic, regulars, all sorts of different blasters. I would judge this probably at what the box says, about 150. I really don't see it being any more than that. I know the pistols can sometimes clock in at 160 to 180, I think. But I really believe that this is about 150, maybe 160 tops. But it's easy to shoot as long as you don't have any problems with your fingers hurting like crazy when you're done. So that's all I'm going to say for now. I'm going to go ahead and try to figure out what to do with this. And then I'll come back and finish the review. Okay, so for like my experiment, I tried to get a sock and double it up around my hands. It seemed to work at first, and then when I went outside to do it again, you could definitely feel it. It does cramp your fingers a little bit, but not nearly as bad. So if you could get some socks, I don't know how you would apply that to the trigger though, or to keep it on. So this is what I was talking about a minute ago. One of those squeeze things that you do for like a stress thing. So what I was thinking about was like basically getting a pocket knife or something or some scissors and slice a little bit of this off of there, and then get some sticky tack and applying it to the trigger. That way when I'm pulling the hard plastic part of the trigger, then I'll be pulling back like on soft rubber. Alright guys, so here's the sticky tack, 3 meter, 3M, whatever it's called. It's tore off just a little bit. This is that little piece that I was telling you about. So I just chopped off the end of it. It's kind of like cutting a cake. It's all like cakey, like a Nerf ball. Nerf ball under here. It's kind of funny. Put a little bit of Nerf on a Nerf. But so here's the final result. I just added that onto it. I don't know how well it'll stay on, but you could probably super glue it. I was just doing this as a temporary thing just to see if it would work. And I don't think I have a problem with shooting this gun now. Now that it has that on there, some extra padding, really doesn't bother me. So, yes, I'm shooting it inside, but yeah. So let's see if you want to see that real quick. Boom, boom. You could tell by the sound of it, like how hard it actually hits. It's about the same as the pistols, but I think pistols might hit just a little bit harder. The dual wields. So, if you have something like this, just a little one of those squeezy things, you could probably pick one up for like $1 at Target or something, or a dollar store, or there's stress toys, stress things. I mean, you're still going to know that you've handled it because it's different. It's not like where you just barely touch something and it rapid fires 10 rounds a second and you hear the batteries, and it's kind of loud. Shooting this one's actually kind of loud, but then again, they're all loud. So I personally would much rather have an automatic blaster, but let's say you only have 1 or 2 gel fire guns or gel blasters in general, then hey, this could be your alternative for while you're waiting for your battery to charge if you run out of juice. So shouldn't have to, as always, Hasbro should do this for us, but it is a way to do it, and it's a lot more comfortable. So if this has some padding on it, I would definitely give it like an A, like a score of an A. The way that it is, the way that it comes, I mean, the gun looks cool and everything. So there's that. But would I recommend it to somebody who doesn't want to do this thing? Put some kind of padding on it or wear some kind of gloves or something, then you probably shouldn't buy it. But it is an easy fix. It only costs you about, just depends if you already have this stuff. For me, it didn't cost me anything because I already had this stuff. But if you, this costs about $1 or something, This costs about $1 or something. So for a couple bucks, you can make it worth your while. All right, guys, that's it for the Pronto. The next review will definitely be the warp speed. Thanks for watching.